This is a U.S. China Media Brief produced by the UCLA Asian American Studies Center. I'm Russell Leong, Director of the U.S. China Media Brief of the UCLA Asian American Studies Center. Turning to the present 2010, because of globalization, new technology, do you think the role of the translator will disappear, or do you feel that there are still certain political, cultural, or social ideas that need to be translated in terms for China?
Actually, I think in the age of globalization, translation play an even more important role because you see in this on the surface of with the material, on the material basis, we can see there are a lot of we say skyscrapers or high buildings, or you have express trains or something like this. But actually, in the mind, what the value system are quite different. So in translation, we say this is important for globalization. Now, people don't always communicate in person. Sometimes rely on the translations. So if you don't have a good translation, sometimes manipulation or misunderstanding may occur in the translation. So that would be terrible for the people in today's age. So I think a good translation is even more important today.
But can you give us one example? You know, you've been living in London and Los Angeles, many places, of course, including China. Can you give us an example of an idea? Do you think through translation could be better understood by the Chinese about the West?
This is really a really good question. Also a challenging question. So, in order to be better understood by the West, I think Chinese values should be first to be appreciated by the West, because they are quite different. Now, different nations have different value systems, so they will do everything according to the values. Now, second, I think we need to translate some classics and also some texts in modern times into different languages to let Western people know more about China. Today I know Hanban, Chinese Hanban, spent a lot of money in translating Laozi, Kongzi, and those we say classics into English or into different languages, more than 10 languages. This is an ambitious project. But I think we need also translate some more books like Luo Xuanmin, Liang Qiqiao, to let Western people to know how China go all the way through its modernization. So know we say the special context of China and know what Chinese are doing. So I think that is important.
Do you think the internet and a computer can help in as far as the dissemination of ideas?
Yeah, of course, internet can, but sometimes it can cause if it is not properly used, it may cause misunderstanding. So I think internet is important if you use it in the right way and rational way.
Now, Professor Law, what would be your ideal project now to work on in terms of your translation?
Actually, today I find many. Of course, United States is not very active in translation studies, but in Europe, you see in Norway. Now, Norway, I was told when I was attending an international conference in Salzburg, they said 90% of publication were translation. They say if without translation, it's hard to imagine how can they live in the source of the world. So we can also see in Belgium in the other nations in Europe, of course, not mention the UK, translation studies were very active in the universities, and also there were a lot of translation practitioners. So I'm thinking of making dialogues between China and the West. So I'm thinking about in Asia. So I don't think we still have a platform for people to make dialogues. So I try to I'm thinking about we say running platform for making dialogues between the East and the West. I try to unite now those people, translators and the translation theorists in Asia and in those areas around Pacific, to do more things within ourselves. At the same time, to make dialogues with the West, so that we can push the translation studies in Asia, of course in China, a big leap forward.
I think it's a great idea because basically when people talk about globalization, they're always talking about economics, technology, maybe migration, but not about values, about people's thinking, desires, and so forth. So I think that's absolutely crucial. And I'd like to congratulate you for sticking. How long have you been a translator? 20 years?
Oh, yeah. I remember my first translation is of Acer.
Right.
That's 20 years.
Right.
Let me say 27 years ago.
Right.
So,
thank you, Professor Luo Xuanmin of Tsinghua. One last question. The great translator Yang Xianyi passed away last month, I believe, and I remember, in the States always reading translations by Yang and his wife, Gladys Yang, whom he met at Cambridge.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about
Yang Xianyi is a translator. I admired him very much. You see, in China, I admired some translators like Jin Di, Yan Jian, and the songs of Xu Yuancong, but most of them, now you see Jin Di and Yan Jian translated from foreign languages into Chinese. We have more translators like this, but to translate the Chinese into, we say, English, we have very, very few people. So Yang Xianyi is a great translator. He translated a lot of works. Now today we can find, so in China, most of the translations were, we say 90% were from foreign language into Chinese. Only 10 or a little bit more than 10% from Chinese into foreign languages. So this unbalance, you see, how can that Western people to know more about China or what are Chinese doing? So I think that this is very important.
Well, we can support each other and figure out how to build these platforms across nations. I think that's the only way people will be able to understand each other, aside from governments and the official type of, diplomatic or economic type of exchanges. So again, thank you, Professor Luo, and we look forward to maybe your next book will be Translating America for the Chinese.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The preceding copyrighted program is a property of the University of California, Los Angeles. All rights reserved. It may be used freely for educational and not-for-profit activities. For other uses or to make an inquiry, please contact the Asian American Studies Center at UCLA.